velvet rope. Let's just get right into it because we are joined. What is she doing here with the one and only Miss Sarah Farasia?
Hanging with my dear friend David Yontif, and we
Ah,
are Final Countdown. It's the final.
final countdown.
This week, Tuesday, October 29th, it is our virtual live podcast. What does that mean? You purchase a ticket through Eventbrite. Just search We Don't Want to Leave Our House tour. We have been on a tour, you guys, a podcast tour. We do not want to leave our house. We know you don't either. So grab a cocktail Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. NYC time. Best Halloween costume is winning a prize valued at over $150 and a fabulous merch. And David and I, you can ask us anything. And boy, do we have the tea. We are also going to be announcing a special guest. We've got to talk about, I have some Vanderpump Rules tea I'm going to drop. David's going to address the Bravo bench, what happened to the podcast. And we've got a very special guest that you're going to be able to interact with. So you don't want to miss it. Just $30. We'll see you Tuesday night.
I love it. I love it. It's gonna be good, and the guest is listed. I'm always nervous with a guest, but the guest was on a major Housewives show. So RHOBH, RHONJ, RHONY, RHOC, RHOA, RHOD, RHODoob, RHOSLC. We got someone from one of the shows, guys.
It's gonna
Yeah, like buy your ticket now. We got a new podcast in the game. Miss Akung Minkoff and Miss Cynthia have announced they are entering the game as Raquel bids farewell to the podcast world as Vicky and Teresa, struggle along on the charts. As Katie Maloney, I think she's doing pretty well, that Katie Maloney. Lala's doing well. Some people do, the young kids do better, huh? Like
well, they
Lala,
get it.
Katie.
They
Yeah,
get
this
it.
this Vicky and this Teresa, it's not the best of news. How's Cynthia and Crystal? What do we think for this? They're gonna do good. Tea time or something.
I
What the hell
hate
is it
the
called?
artwork. I can tell you right now, I hate the artwork. I
What's
couldn't
it
even
called?
tell it was them. I don't even know.
Reasonably shady, some shit like that. Something about two for tea or something. I mean, really, I really don't know. I'm not even
It's
not
awfully
even
late in the game to get it. I don't know. I mean, look, I,
humble
like I said,
brag.
it's not
Humble brag. Now,
okay.
what do we think of the title? A humble brag.
When you sent this to me, I didn't even recognize the artwork. I'm really not
No, I mean,
a fan.
listen, you're Cynthia and Crystal. Just use your actual real pictures. You're in the public eye. People know who
I
you are.
couldn't agree more. The maybe that's is that their artwork? Maybe yeah, I'm sure it's their artwork.
I'm sure. I mean, do I know it's them when you're announcing it and they're next to it? Sure. If I just saw this floating around, I don't know if I would know it was Cynthia and Crystal. It says Crystal and Cynthia, so I guess there you go. But yeah, I'm not sure this. I think Cynthia's looks maybe a little more like her. I would just use your pictures. Humble brag. Don't hate the name. Don't love the name. Don't really understand it.
I think, when you're launching a podcast nowadays, and of course you
Hmm.
do consulting,
Hmm.
my podcast course that's taking a year to get out, but it will be out. Um, the thing that you have to ask yourself is why are you doing this? And there's a lot of reasons now to podcast, and podcasting is going to become even bigger in 2025 and 2026. When you think about podcasting like radio, right? Radio had an 80-year run before radio died. We are only
Okay.
about a decade in with
Okay.
podcasts. Okay. So unless something comes through that's so crazy, and really AI at this point, all AI is doing is cloning your voice. So now you could potentially do your podcast in multiple languages. We're going to have a very long run with podcasting, but why are you doing this is really the question. And there's a lot of reasons now. Is make
Looks.
money. You're going to be able to make a fortune, and people just don't know how to do it, which is where you and I come in to show people.
They don't know how to make money,
There's
guys.
story out, that people trust the media less and less. This is a great time if you're if you're a former journalist, if you have popularity, great time because people are looking for those voices they can trust, and they're no longer on TV, and they're definitely not on the radio. So maybe this is just a hobby. Maybe this is a way that you want to interview certain people in your business realm. It's podcasting is a terrific way if you are trying to get a job, if you are trying to meet a CEO that you've always wanted to interact with. Fabulous way to do it. I don't know what they're going to do here. And I think that's where Levis ran into trouble. The problem is people want to they want to hear the tea, they want to hear the dirt. They don't want, and I think Vicky is trying to right the ship with her podcast because Vicky's was going to be business advice, positivity towards women. They don't want to hear it. They just
She
don't.
was in the mix to be hired for my other podcast that I walked away from. So yeah, she wanted to do all of that 100%. And
It doesn't.
right. I mean, look, they say they're going to be doing pop culture and they say they're going to be doing, Bravo. Like, look, just reviewing Atlanta Housewives or Beverly Hills and knowing the people, that doesn't do it. I agree with you. Like now, look, now you say a decade, so I'm in my fifth year. I came in, I guess, right in the middle. I was even late in a lot of ways, but I mean, man, thank God I started when I did. You know what I mean? It's like, but I know this is why I teach a course. Really, this is why you teach a course. I know how I got my show to the top. I don't really care about the top of the charts. We teach that in the podcast, what the charts mean. But besides just being on the top of the charts, I mean, this is an actual money-making show, which it's a whole job. That's a whole job in and of itself. Now, we're not going to give away our secrets right here, but I agree with you. I wish everybody luck. It's kind of like when Raquel started, we said, what is the plan?
Talk to us in a year. Talk to us in a year. And now it's closing shop.
Like you can't, right? 5 years later, nobody cares if Sandoval kissed you in the pool, went down on you in the pool, didn't call you back. Where are the legs? Like, what is the game plan? I understand their game plan. It sounds like their game plan is the same as a lot of other Bravo podcasts. It's not, I mean, look, we've learned from like a Vicky. I mean, Vicky had two other failed attempts, but not only Vicky, who else had Larsa Pippen, like just being on the Housewife show and having a podcast doesn't, I don't know what it is. Jax's is doing well. Do the kids just get it? Do the kids get it more than the adults? Mind you, Crystal is the same age as some of these kids that I say.
Jax brings
it. Yes.
Jax, Lala, they bring the tea, right? They bring a lot of they talk about other people. I mean, Lala has talked about Ariana. They talk, is Crystal gonna talk about okay, well then
they didn't do it on the fucking show. I mean, people said for years that Cynthia was boring. I'm not saying that. They said Cynthia and Candy were boring, and they said Crystal was boring. So that is, look, I get why this podcast is happening. Everybody wants to be David Yontef, Sarah Fraser, and in this case, the rat and the gnat. The difference is the rat is the rat. She is the rat. She scurries with that tail. Yes. She doesn't care. So the rat does her job very well. Is Cynthia going to get